I actually finished this control point just a few seconds after the video cuts off when I'm killing the boss. So even doing it solo and then also waiting to show you my build here, I still did it in 10 minutes, which is pretty impressive, I think, for a tank build. Mostly a tank build, as this guy is. And he's my new favorite build, I have to say it. My pure Foundry build, he's still, I still love him, and also because he's the only one I have that, the only build I've made so far that feels like he can always consistently solo legendary. My striker build, my refactor skill build, and this build, although I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty sure he would struggle a bunch. And probably just not be able to do it outright. Because he'd be behind cover so much. He wouldn't be able to be out in the open soloing legendary, which is the whole purpose of the build. Now, in teams, I still think in teams, which, I mean, that's how most people should and would play legendary anyway. But yeah, in teams, he still is very good, I think, for legendary. Because at that point, you have other players as extra distractions, so I'm not always necessarily taking all the damage. And then I'm tanky enough to actually then, with Vanguard 2, be able to risk being out in the open with my shield sometimes. And then that way get the fire on. Also, a lot of legendary teams, they'll like bottleneck the enemies deliberately because no one's able to survive too long. So a lot of teams will literally just have them like just camp at like entrances and stuff like that. In which case, if I'm with the team doing that, I mean, that's even better because then I can just flamethrower every enemy that comes through the bottleneck for the team to incinerate without those guys being a threat when they're on fire. So while I'm also giving Vanguard buffs and still being pretty tanky to potentially res people better than others when I see opportunities for it. So I mean, this guy is still a very good team support build, even for legendary missions, in my view, and would still perform well, I think. But soloing legendary, it ain't happening. Unless when I get max expertise, even then, like, max expertise only buffs you a little bit. It's not like a crazy amount. It's just like a decent chunk of weapon damage and armor is what you get out of it. It's not a small amount, but it's not a large amount either, by any means. So it would definitely help it make this, for instance, be a lot easier. Or like, it would make heroic soloing even easier when I'm not even going into the red health probably as much when I get max expertise. And it would make him, a much more asset in legendary teams. As for soloing legendary, I still have doubts that he'll ever be able to do that. And, I mean, I don't have doubts that he, especially at max expertise, could do it. It would just be a slog fest that I would not enjoy, would not be worth the time. That's how legendary is never worth the time in my view. It's just there for a challenge and nothing more in my view. That people just do deliberately. Otherwise, you just play heroic, frankly. That's how I go. Or even, as I said before, challenge difficulty when you're soloing is the best practical one. Because it's easier and you get basically the same loot as heroic. Heroic just offers a little bit better loot. But that's why it's best in teams to do heroic, because then heroic is a lot easier, obviously, when you're in a team. Especially a good team. And then the extra loot over challenge difficulty makes sense. Otherwise, if you're soloing or on a really bad team, then challenge difficulty, frankly, makes the most sense, usually. I just avoid it now because I've gotten so used to only playing on heroic for all my builds that I wouldn't want to build if it couldn't solo heroic at least. Because that is the highest difficulty for most content in this game. Anyway, like, I really like this guy as my control point heroic soloer now, because he's tanky enough, as you see here, that he still feels like a proper tank. I can be out in the open a ton. I can risk running over to dudes constantly, even soloing heroic with a couple directives on too right now. I always have Fog of War, but I also have the skill cooldown one as just a little extra challenge, and because I feel like it's not too terrible to manage. Now the ammo hoarding one I would never do on this guy because it would just ruin his build, and his synergy is ammo hoarding. When every time you reload anything, it takes all your ammo away. Like, that's just especially with signature weapon, because it does the same. I realized it also affects your signature weapon, so I'm like, oh heck no, we're not doing ammo hoarding ever. There's just some directives where it's like, why? They only exist for people to play Call of Duty instead. meaning to only be based on skill anymore. Like, it has nothing to do with your build, period, because it takes away your build. And I just don't like that in this game, because, I mean, that's the whole point of the game, is builds. Anyway, this guy, like, he's tanky enough that he still feels like a proper tank on heroic control points. But then, unlike my Pure Foundry build, he actually can do decent damage and clear them reasonably fast, too, compared to him. At least faster. Because of the signature weapon synergy with Pyromaniac is the only thing, really. But also, like, I like doing that combo, but then it also allows me to slowly stack up signature weapon ammo, so I always keep it high, to then, like, do a giant amount of damage sometimes against, like, in this guy's case, I like to save up my signature weapon ammo, and if I spot an annoying medic on the field, I'll unload a whole clip into the medic, to an elite medic especially, when it's spongier. It's like, oh, an elite medic, I'm emptying the entire clip into him to kill him. Like, that medic is going down. I don't care. I hate medics more than anything in the game. The drone bombers are super annoying. Yes, there's lots of other cheating enemies in this game. The snipers are super annoying. For this guy, especially the non-elite snipers, like the purple snipers, of course, do the most damage to me. Like, out of everything in the game, that would do the most damage to this guy is a purple sniper, specifically. So yeah, there's lots of really annoying enemies, but the medics are the worst, because they needlessly extend the fight forever. For no extra loot for you, no extra anything. It's just, they literally will raise the boss. I've seen it where they raise the boss and give him bonus health. The boss comes back, full armor, health, and now also a green bar, a green extra health bar from an elite medic resing him. It's the most unfair trash I've ever seen in this game, I think, is that. Because it's like, there's like a Revive Hive player builds. They cannot do what these medics do. It's just absurd. Anyway, that's enough on me. Honestly, if it were up to me, I would 100% get rid of the medics in the whole game. I hate them. I hate the medics. I hate them. Did I say how much I hate medics in this game? I hate them. They all suck. Anytime I see them, I just want to kill them and then get them, and then I want to have a medic build to get them back up and kill them again. That's how much I hate the medics. Anyway, that's a tangent for another time.